hello, hello. I'm Christy Abel, and I am so excited to be here today to share with you a crash course in what it's like to be a reflector. But before we begin, I would like to acknowledge and appreciate that I'm coming to you from the traditional land of the Tawasin, Musqueam, and Coast Salish peoples, and I am so grateful to be able to live, work, play, and learn here. Haichka. So today in this video are one percenters. I can't even say reflector friends because I actually have never met a reflector, as far as I know, because they probably don't know. Although I may have a few hints about a few people in my life that may be reflectors. So 1%, huh? It's a very, very special thing to be a reflector. Not that any type of human design is better than the others by any means. We are all here to play our part. But you indeed do play a very special role in the human design sphere. Okay, so today we'll talk about what it means to be a reflector. I'll give you some details about your energy type, how to use your strategy in your daily life, how to know when you're in alignment with your universal design and when you are out, and then also how we can use tarot as a natural accompaniment to human design. Okay, so constants. So all reflectors will have technically four things in their chart. Their energy type, which I'm already talking about, which is why it's not listed here. But every reflector will have this in common. Okay, your energy type, your strategy, your sign, and your not self theme. Now, the rest of your chart, which includes your profile, which is like your personality type, your authority, which is how you should make decisions, your incarnation cross, which is like your life's purpose or your life theme, your manifestation process, your strongest sense that you might have, your emotions, how you feel and express them, and also your gene keys and gifts from the universe. Now, this is again like a crash course. And also I couldn't really cover all that stuff because it's going to make you different from all of the other reflectors out there. Well, most of them, we're all going to have identical human design to a couple of people at least, right? Maybe a couple thousand. All right, so your energy type. So your energy type is basically how your energy functions. And you, my friend, the reflector, are like a shapeshifter. You have this ability to absorb and and like mimic your environment like none of us else can. So you're really, really flexible and you can actually change to be anything that you want at any time. And when you're doing this, your soul is the most expressed that it can be. Now, it's actually a power move. However, if you are unaware of the fact that this is like a good thing, because a lot of people are going to criticize you for being, for like not being constant. Like we're often taught, oh, you just have to be consistent and constant and predictable. And your life, when it's really living according to your human design, is going to be like changing all of the time. Okay. And once you embrace this and own it rather than shy away from it or like accept that criticism, because guess what? It ain't yours. Okay. That's when others will start to value you the most. Right. So now, because you are so open, like you're wide open, I'm a manifester and I'm totally closed, right? In my aura, it is big and it is impenetrable. Yours is the opposite. So, but because it's so open, that means that this full spectrum of humanity, and indeed it is everything, I firmly believe everything is a spectrum, whether it is your sexuality or I believe everybody's on the autism spectrum. By the way, I am also a psychologist and practicing counselor, and that is really going to come out in my tarot readings. It's part of the approach that I'm coming. So I'll be kind of bringing together tarot, human design, and psychology. So guess what? I ain't afraid of no swords. I'm actually going to use those to teach how we can resolve issues going on with our mental health. Anyways, that's for later. So you get to play in this spectrum as much as you want and as much as you feel comfortable. And it will actually, when you do, it will actually serve the rest of us, right? But this comes with a caveat is that you are very, very typically prone to social conditioning. And we'll explain why. Okay, so reflectors are extremely influenced by what's around them, by the environment. So for you, it's really, really important that you pay close attention to like what's going on around you and where you are and how you feel rather. So because you can basically mimic your environment, right? Or sometimes hide in it like a chameleon, right? So another like shapeshifter chameleon, you'll get the kind of metaphors we've got kind of going along here. And you're also going to pair that energy that's around you. So if you are at a place where there's a lot of people who are grieving, oh, you're going to feel that like so deeply. But if you're in a place where people are very excited and happy, you're also going to feel that very deeply. So that's your cue. Okay. So you need to check in with what's going around because technically you're not really able to filter and block it. Whereas me as a manifester, I can walk around all day long and like things just like bounce off. Right. And so, but that's not true for you. So it's important that if you don't like the vibe of where you are, you got to leave, right? You can't change it within yourself as a reflector. Okay. So you have to, and if you're doing something that makes you feel really uncomfortable, I mean, tough because, we need discomfort for growth, but you'll have to measure kind of like what's worth it, like take stock, like it's like a cost benefit analysis of staying or going. So I love that for you, actually. Cost benefit analysis is one of the most important concepts that you could use in your daily life, right? So you need to leave or stay depending on how you feel. So trust, right? So you might think, oh my gosh, how can I let the outside world control me? Well, you can't really fight this, right? So, but this is basically a permission slip for you to leave should you feel like that is not right for you, right? So this muscle is going to take a little while, like to exercise it, right? Like we don't all start off with like these super fit, awesome, I don't know, like ripped bodies. I don't know, that's awesome. Whatever. But like just let's go with this. So the like you have to exercise these muscles. And so start small, right? With maybe just leaving a situation that you have like zero attachment to. Like you're at like the grocery store or something and you just duck out. You don't have to be rude, right? You'd be like, okay, there's lots and lots of ways. Actually, this will come out in the tarot. There's lots of ways to leave a social situation and not be awkward about it. Anyways, so trust that when something feels off, it's a sign from source that something needs to change. Whether you need to leave, whether you need to change a topic of conversation, I think that's going to be really good for you is to be able to redirect conversation. And if the other people that are around you aren't responding, you leave. Like seriously, you book out of there. Okay, so for you now, synchronicities. I love synchronicities. I don't believe in luck. I don't believe in coincidence. I do believe in attraction and I do believe in synchronicities. So for you, the synchronicities are going to be key. Okay. They are opportunities where you'll find yourself in the right place at the right time. And then as these synchronicities add up and you go, oh, this is what I do. I go, whenever I have a synchronicity, I go, thanks, right? Like, yeah. It's just, well, gratitude is the language of the universe. So it's always good to say thank you when something real cool happens. Okay. So the name reflector comes from your ability to reflect back at others who they really are. This makes you really powerful and kind of scary to some people because they're going to see themselves reflected back. And this is like a really valuable tool for self-examination, but not everybody's going to feel comfortable doing that, right? Like so it's interesting. So this is really powerful. And if you're new to being a reflector or you haven't really like ever like known and like this kind of stuff, this is going to be pretty like whoa at first. Okay, I have a bet for you. Okay, my bet is that it's a like and subscribe on this video. Okay, so if you walk away from this video feeling that you have learned something or you feel more validated in who you are, please like and subscribe. If you don't, then you can just walk away and I accept. One of the things about being a manifester is that people are always divided into three buckets for me. I'm supposed to inform, like right now, I'm legit living my design because I am informing and I feel great, right? I feel really, really good right now. And but like there'll be like people who are like, yes, I'm buying what she's selling, right? Like, or I'm like, oh, I don't know about this, but maybe. And then the third one is, oh, hell no. Like, I'm not into that at all. And so I don't bother too much with the third one. And I really just focus on the first, right? So, anyways, there's a little lesson about the manifestor people in your life. If you're curious about any of the other human design energy types, I will link the videos for those below because I find that it is super helpful to know about the people in your life that you care about. Okay, so with this mirror, back to the topic, your energy level will ebb and flow, but it'll also again mirror that environment. So if you need a boost, right? So let's say you're feeling kind of meh, and you're like, but I got to get something done. Go and surround yourself with people who are like super energetic, like go like, and you could just like go. You could go to like a football game. You could go to a concert. You could go like don't go to the library though, right? Like if you go to the library, that's good energy for like quiet. Or you get my gist? Like you need to go somewhere where people are happy and excited and then or there's energy, right? If you need to take a break, that's when you go to the library and you can go there and you can sit and absorb the energy of this calm, cool space full of knowledge. Okay. So for you to find success, it's not about doing the most. Okay. That's the generator's job and the Manny Gens. That's for them. It's about doing the few things that are going to reward you the most. One of your strategies is to wait, right? And it's often to wait like a whole lunar cycle. Now we can't wait 28 days to figure out what we're going to order for dinner. So you have to like work with this flex. But when it comes to actually to making major decisions, you are supposed to wait 28 days so that you can go through a full, so that the decision's coming from you and not your environment. And it gives you that much time to go around. So that would be for things like buying a house, deciding on, your life partner, like that kind of stuff. These kind of major decisions, you don't want to rush those. Okay, strategy. Okay, our strategy is the primary way in which we manifest abstract concepts into a reality. Manifestation is very near and dear to my heart because when I started my spiritual journey about 4.5 years ago, I needed some tangible results. Like I needed things to be shown to me. I don't anymore. I mean, I love manifestation and I'm super grateful for everything that I receive because I have attracted it. But yeah, anyway, so it's an important thing. And when we learn how to do it according to our design, it speeds everything up. It's incredible. Okay, so your strategy as a reflector is to be carried. You're like, okay, well, what is that? Okay, so as a manifester, I receive direct downloads that direct me, that like tell me what to do. I get so many that I have to filter them out. I mean, one of those things is this tarot and human design channel, right? Like this is one of them. And as far as I know, I'm the first person on the planet to actually do this, and which is very exciting to me. I love initiating things, right? That's part of how my energy works. So, but for you, a lot of the time, the universe is actually like it's carrying you, right? And so it will like so. Means that you don't have to do a lot, right? You just have to follow the formula essentially that human design follows, like that lays out for you. So it's going to carry you towards your goals and dreams, but often we get in the way because society has told you you got to work really hard, you got to do this, you got to do that. There's this whole other instruction manual about how to be successful according to our social conditioning. But to me, human design is all about unraveling that social conditioning so that we can really connect with who we are and who we're supposed to be rather than who other people and tradition tell us who we're supposed to be. Okay, so you're going to know something is right when you get a bunch of synchronicities or i.e. nudges to go through with what you're going to do. So don't, but not the first time. So you're going to get like a download or whatever, and it'll be like, oh, I don't even know. So where do you want to plan your next vacation? Okay, let's say it. Okay, so let's go Costa Rica because I just got back from my honeymoon there. Okay, so all of a sudden, your friend tells you about Costa Rica and you're like, oh, wow. Or I tell you about my honeymoon. You're like, oh my gosh, there she is. That could be a synchronicity right now if you're already thinking about Costa Rica, the fact that I said it. And then maybe you're walking down the street and then there's like a, or like you walk, anyways, and then there's a picture of it there at like a travel shop. And then you go, anyways, and then something, and then you're like, oh, I want to watch something in the blue zone, right? These are all synchronicities that, like, just me telling you about Costa Rica is the first one, right? It's not, it's the other ones. And then you're like, okay. And especially if you want to do this over 28 days, and it will tell you. Okay, so you don't want to react on that first nudge, and that's because you're so open. We want to do it over time. So, unfortunately, being a reflector, or fortunately, means you have to be really patient. Okay. So, whenever you're acting in alignment, let's say alongside with those synchronicities, without, things are just going to fall into place. And all of a sudden, flights to Costa Rica are on sale for the exact same time that you want to be there. Oh my gosh, your friend, someone knows somebody that can give you a place for free. Like, that's the kind of stuff that will roll out. That is you being carried. Okay. But you got to pay attention. Okay. It's good. Your sign. Okay. So your sign is a feeling you get when you are acting in accordance with your human design. And a reflector's is surprise. And isn't that delightful? Hey, wonderful. When you feel surprised, that is when you are crushing it with the design. And it'll be like you'll feel like this deep feeling of how wonderful life is and can be. And you do this by not closing down, but by being fluid and open, by not following society's rules and being like, oh, you got to be a certain way all the time. No. Okay. So you got go hard when it suits you, rest when that also suits you. Now, of course, you got a job, I'm sure, right? So we have to, like, be socially intelligent about this, right? I am not saying to go and just and tell your boss, oh, by the way, I'm a reflector, I can't work right now. Like, you'll have to figure out how this is going to fit into your particular life, right? But even if you take something small from this and start with that, which is exactly how it, like, pick something, whether it's your sign, maybe even your not self, um, and start using that as your, like, just as practice, right? What is what have you got to lose? I remember when I first started actively manifesting, right? Like, living my life on purpose. And the first courses that I ever taught in the esoteric space were all about manifestation, about the basics. I have three different courses, and like, and the basics of how it works, right? And of course, like, I could do a fourth one on some pretty advanced stuff, include quantum jumping and all that kind of stuff. But my interests have now moved on to human design and tarot. So I may go finish that series. I don't know. Anyways, off track a little bit. Here we go. So basically, life is full of things that are here to surprise and delight you. You have to be able to see them that way first. So you need to keep your eyes open, and appreciation, right? Going, oh, when you feel that surprise, uh, ooh, right? And then go, "Thank you," right? Like, it's just so it's very simple, It's very, very simple. So the less you lock yourself into one identity, right? And be and shape shift away, right? Um, the more your life will flow. It's so interesting. You are so different from the rest of us. And so it's really important to cherish that even when it's really difficult. So I do want to acknowledge that if you don't know that this is the case, you might you have a things might have been pretty tough for you. Okay. Like, if you're constantly absorbing other people's energies and then mimicking it, there can be a real sense of a loss of control there, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if you've had some significant struggles, right? But you're the wonderful news is that if you start living in accordance to your design, that will all change. Like, boom, yay, fireworks. So when you feel surprised, you know that you are on to something great. Okay, you're not self-theme. This is the opposite. Okay, so you're not self-theme is the feeling that you get when you're not living in accordance with your design, and yours is disappointment. Okay, so this is something to watch out for. It can show up in lots of different ways, right? It can show up as like, so boring, right? Or feeling low, feeling caged, like you're stuck, right? Feeling let down. That's a very big one. Disappointment. I for me, disappointment shows up as feeling let down, right? I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I can never say that, but other people do. And it's pretty cutting, right? Like it's, yeah, anyways, you may have all heard that from parental figures in the past, or maybe even use them as one. But okay. Or the opposite. Sometimes you can go way overboard and overcompensate with life experiences because you're constantly searching for that surprise rather than allowing the universe to give it to you. You're like kind of forcing it. So disappointment is always a clue. Like our not self theme is always a clue for us to recognize it and go, oh, I'm like out of alignment. And when you're out of alignment, the universe is like, I'm taking a coffee break, right? Like it's like, nope, no, thank you. I don't want to be any part of this. So what it does is it says taps turned off. So who would want to shut? Why would we want this tap shut off? So we want to move back into surprise. So if something's for you in particular, because you want lots of movement and fluidity, something that it's for you to change something that you feel stuck about. Okay. So whether it is a routine, whether it's a habit, perhaps it's a self perception, just remember try to be more open and fluid. And there's lots of meditations on YouTube that can help you with this kind of stuff. So I would like search it, spin the wheel, see what fits, and we can start to kind of deconstruct this. So why would we use tarot in human design? Like I said earlier, I believe I'm the first person to do this. So because our human design stamp is static, it doesn't change. Yes, it's a map and a manual that tells us like how we should live our lives, but the only constant in life is change and death and taxes. But so it's helpful to have regular guidance from spirit, right? So tarot is a map of the energy that's happening right now, right? And like I said, I'm going to be combining it with my extensive knowledge around psychology and counseling, so that we can kind of jump into things like reflection and self-discovery, problem solving, clarity and emotions, and of course, future insights. Right. Well, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to watch this. If you got some value out of it, you know what to do.